This is nationwide news on the network service of the NTA. Welcome. I am Nolene Ebel Ame. Let's begin the broadcast in the State House, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has transmitted to the Senate Thursday list of 7 ministerial nominees for screening and confirmation. The nominees are Dr. Nantawe Yilwada, Muhammadu Maigari Dingyadi, Bianca Ojuku, and Yusuf Abdullahi Atta. Others are Idi Mukhtar Maiha, Jumoke Oduole, and Suwaiba Said Ahmed.
Usual expeditious consideration of the Senate. Please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The communication was referred to the Committee of the Whole for action in the shortest possible time. Meanwhile, the Senate has urged the Ministry of Works to dredge and channel rivers Benue and Niger to prevent recurring flood. The federal government says it has given 60 days ultimatum to its certificate of occupancy title owners to settle all outstanding ground rent and statutory charges, or else face revocation of their CFOs. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, gave the hint at the 29th Annual Conference of Directors of Lands in the Federal Capital and State Ministries, departments and agencies holding in Abuja. Francis Udojo reports.
The Federal Minister of Housing and Development is aware that several owners of the title properties have failed to pay ground rent and statutory charges to the ministry for several years now.
The issue of land acquisition has been problematic in Nigeria in the recent times. So, the 29th Council meeting of Federal and State Directors of Lands with the theme, Equitable Land Stewardship, Challenges of Land Administration and its Impact on Climate Change and Community Rights, is examining and finding solutions to land management and environmental impact in the country.
Basically, the challenges affecting land administration, lack of data, and not considering the vulnerable groups in the society.
The dignitaries hope for proper implementation of resolutions at such events to foster desired developmental goals. Papers presented include Equitable Land Stewardship, Challenges of Land Administration and its Impact on Climate Change and Community Rights. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
In other news, in support of Jigawa State government, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has donated a sum of 40 million naira and food items to victims of tanker explosion in Majia village of the state. The donation was presented on her behalf by a delegation led by wife of the Speaker, House of Representatives, Hajia Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, at the Government House, Dutse. Handing over the check sum and food items to the wife of the State Governor, Hadiza Umar Namadi, Hajia Fatima Tajuddin Abbas says the plight of the victims is of great concern to the First Lady.
To the families and loved ones and the good people of Jigawa State that lost their lives in this tragic tanker incident, our hearts go out to the victims of the families, to their loved ones, and to the entire Jigawa State and to Nigeria. This is a heart-wrenching moment for all of us, and in your presence here, is a symbol of solidarity, compassion, and support that give us strength in this time of grief.
The delegation was earlier at the Rashid Shekoni Federal University Teaching Hospital, Dutse, where some of the victims are currently receiving medical attention. There, the leader of the delegation again shared words of comfort and hope with the victims, assuring them of the First Lady's support for them at this painful time. Retirees under the contributory scheme say they are being excluded from payment of pension increments among other benefits. Benny Adams reports that the pensioners took their plight to the office of the Accountant General of the Federation seeking redress.
And if we continue to keep quiet, we'll be losing more.
Their demand is simple: pay our pension increment, honor our service, as we want to live out our golden years with dignity. We want to know that our service meant something. With these words, they believe the world has heard their plight, and it was time the Treasury House makes commitment as to when payments will start trickling in.
Please, next time, please, seek to have audience with us. We will surely make ourselves available and we can dialogue. We feel your plight, and everybody on this table will one day become a retiree.
Our next line of action is to turn the whole of these premises to our residence until Accountant General releases funds for the payment of our entitlements.
The pensioners insist that, aside from rights to periodic increment, their members who retired more than 20 months ago are yet to receive their entitlement. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
In the meantime, workers in Kebbi State will now have cause to smile as the state's governor, Nasir Idris, has signed into law a new minimum wage of 75,000 naira. Abdul Jalil Mohammed Bawa reports.
The signing of the new Kebbi State minimum wage of 75,000 naira by Governor Nasir Idris followed the submission of a report by the State Committee on the implementation of the new minimum wage. This committee comprises state officials, labor union representatives, and other stakeholders in the state. The national president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, hailed the signing as a significant step towards boosting productivity in the state civil service.
The time we were negotiating was a turbulent period. And when we had comments from states like Kebbi to say whatever is agreed we are going to implement, we were encouraged.
Governor Idris emphasized the crucial role of civil servant in nation building and reaffirmed his administration's commitment to their welfare in the state.
I have directed that the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Local Government should ensure the implementation of minimum wage to all categories of workers, the state workers, the teachers, and the local government workers.
The new Kebbi State minimum wage is expected to take effect immediately. In Birmingham, Kebbi, Abdul Muhammad Bawa, NTA News.
From Birmingham, Kebbi, we take you to Makudi, where residents of communities affected by flood have continued to appeal to relevant authorities to dredge the River Benue as a lasting solution to perennial flooding. Correspondent Ilyas Itiaf reports that the call is necessitated by continued flooding of communities along the riverbanks.
Become a recurring disaster, particularly for communities along the banks of River Benue. This year, several communities in 10 local government areas of the state were affected by flooding, sacking thousands of people, a development that necessitated the opening of emergency camps for displaced population.
We'll be having this issue of floods day in, year out, and this one is very terrible that the water is no more flowing, it's just coming out from in the soil.
In 2023, we experienced same in this place. We had the same similar experience, but it wasn't as bad as this one.
As a way of catering for their immediate needs, the state government, through the State Emergency Management Agency, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management have provided food and non-food items to the IDPs. This is in addition to support services being provided by partnering organizations to cushion their hardships.
I've decided that, okay, people are here, they have to eat, they have to sleep not on the floor, and mosquitoes, of course, are here. So distribution has begun with rice, mattresses, and mosquito nets. With a gradual recession of water, some persons have started returning to their homes, hoping that it will continue to recede for people to live normal lives. In Makudi, Elias, Etiaf, NTA News.
I'm still staying with Elias Etiaf in Makudi. He joins us on Makudi Boko Road to give us an update on the flood situation. Elias, good evening to you. What more can you tell us on this situation?
Okay, thank you, Melin. Where we're standing here is referred to as Kucha Otebe, located along the Makudi Boko Road, and it was one of the spots, the settlements that was flooded, and the community is located along the river banks. Unlike many other communities across the state, spanning covering 10 local governments in the state, they were flooded, but for the time being, the water is beginning to recede. Most of the IDPs, most of the displaced persons as a result of flooding that were in camps are beginning to come back, but some are still in the various camps created across these 10 local government areas of the state. The state government has launched the distribution of food and non-food items to these people. They have been giving mattresses, rice, and then some basic household needs so that they can live life a little bit comfortable in the emergency camps. For now, they are waiting, just like you heard from the report, they are waiting for the complete recession of. But I speak to the Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management today, and he reiterated that by next week, the state government is beginning the fumigation of homes that were taken over by flooding and where the water has receded. So that is the situation generally for now.
All right, thank you very much, Elias Etiaf, for updating us on the situation, flood situation in Makudi there, and what government is doing to ameliorate the challenges. Okay, in other news, the Unified Command and Control Structure established in the Niger Delta by the Defense Headquarters in line with a presidential mandate to curb crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism is yielding result. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said this at a news conference in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The Defense Headquarters has upscaled its operations across the country in line with recent presidential directives. This, the Director of Defense Media Operations says, is paying off following increase in crude oil production, arrest and elimination of unrepentant criminals across the country.
Since when that directive was given and the command was established, there has been significant increase in the nation's daily crude oil production. We are talking about 1.7 getting close to 1.8, and I can assure you that we will increasingly make progress as we get towards the end of the year.
Troops of Operation Udoka also arrested a notorious IPOB commander in Imo State, destroyed several criminal camps and recovered arms.
He is an indigenous people of Biafra terrorist founding father responsible for Osu general area in Imo State.
Similarly, in the last 7 days, troops eliminated 140 terrorists, arrested 135 criminals, and rescued 70 kidnapped victims. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
If you just joined us, this is Nationwide News on the network service of the NTA, who will take our first break. The news continues thereafter. Thank you for staying with us on Nationwide. The Senate has tabled before the public a bill for an act to establish a Federal University of Agriculture and Tropical Studies in Abuja, Oyo State. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports.
During the public hearing, the President of the Senate noted that countries with less fertile land and less potential in agriculture have taken the lead in agro-export, and that Nigeria with vast soil is determined to be a key player.
The establishment of a specialized institution like this is not just a challenge, it is an opportunity. An opportunity to reclaim our legacy as a global agricultural powerhouse. Agriculture offers a remarkable opportunity for economic diversification of this country because of availability of arable lands across the country.
When signed into law, the Federal University of Agriculture and Tropical Studies, Abuja, will serve as a hub of excellence in agricultural research, education, and extension services.
We must invest in education and retraining of our youth to equip them with the knowledge and skills necessary to harnessing this potential. The policy intervention of agriculture cannot be adequately captured. When within the policy making body of this university, you don't have anybody representing.
The institution will also offer comprehensive training on theoretical and practical aspects of agricultural services, which include crop production, livestock, agricultural economics, and environmental sustainability.
I appreciate the committee of the Senate, presided over by Very Excellency Distinguished Senator Simon Ladon, and all committee members for the successful public hearing.
Stakeholders were in agreement that agriculture is vital not only to economic growth but to national transformation. From the National Assembly, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
And talking health now, the federal government is on course in the task of ending the circulating variant of poliovirus type 2 as children's health care remains a national priority. Executive Director, National Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aino, NPHCDA, made this known at a media briefing to commemorate the 2024 World Polio Day in Nigeria. Nigeria has since 2021 been contending with the circulating variant of poliovirus type 2, and this year alone, the country has recorded 83 cases as of October 18, while blaming the circulating variant poliovirus type 2 on inability to vaccinate the All Children Actors driving national program on immunization. Some progress has been with statistics revealing over 38% decrease in cases between 2023 and 2024.
To please not rest until we eradicate this disease. The theme for this year's World Polio Day is a chance for reflection and a reminder to reach every child. It is apt for us at NPHCDA particularly, as it is the right time to reflect on the goals we have set for ourselves. We need to know whether we are on track towards evolving a PHC system that is responsive and that guarantees every Nigerian equitable access to high quality primary healthcare services that they trust.
That is why this year's World Polio Day is perhaps an opportunity, not just to celebrate progress, but indeed to regarner support and commitment at all levels to finish the job once and for all.
And we shall now be joining him live from Ibadan to bring us updates on the level of compliance and effectiveness of the ongoing measles vaccination exercise in Oyo State. Rafia, over to you. Can you hear me, Rafia? Hello? Hello. Good evening, Rafia. If you can hear me very well, Hello. All right, it appears Rufia cannot hear us from this end, and let's continue with the news, hopefully to reconnect with her later. Creating capacity to raise a generation of principled leaders with honor, integrity and competence is the focus of this year's African Biblical Leadership Initiative Conference in Abuja. Omenka Amarachiku reports that the conference provides a platform for stakeholders to share insights and explore innovative ways to promote ethical and effective leadership on the continent using biblical principles.
African Biblical Initiative was founded in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, during a special section of African Union Prayer Breakfast by African heads of states and governments in 2010. Aimed to foster the qualitative transformation of the nation through value-based leadership. The youths at this event are leveraging opportunities therein to strengthen the connection between faith and leadership, highlighting values that promote integrity, service, and accountability.
Be calm, think, meditate, pray, listen, to God, and God will speak. Okay?
This conference aims at enshrining biblical principle in leadership.
You can say that the youth are joyous already, and they have been filled with the Holy Spirit, and everybody is being filled up. Myself that came, I am filled up, and my heart is full of joy.
The team, Arise and Shine, a new generation of transformational leadership. The outcome of the conference is expected to cultivate unity and national coexistence among Africans. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachiku, NTA News.
And speaking on education now, social media makes a fundamental shift that forms 74% of primary source of how society receive and disseminate information, which also makes media literacy not just beneficial but essential for participation in the modern society. Head of Mass Communication Department, Nile University, Dr. Jacob Shagboa Semu said this at a workshop to commemorate the annual Global Media and Information Literacy Week. It is organized by International Media and Information Literacy Institute in collaboration with the Ministry of Information and National Orientation and also National Open University. The University Don, who spoke on new digital frontiers of information media and information literacy for public interest, believes that the social media goes beyond boundaries, sometimes disseminating misinformation.
Scrupulous activities of some of those social media stands, then you will accept that there is need for us to put a legislation that impresses on us the call for a responsible utilization of these platforms.
You need to be careful how we disseminate information, what we disseminate, and the impact of what you have disseminated.
The society is encouraged to be wary of information received from the social media because it could be misleading. I'm now told that Rufia is back online and we can hopefully hear her this time around. Hello, Rufia. Can you speak to us on the vaccination, measles vaccination for children in Ibadan?
Hello and good evening. Research shows that about 1 in every 6 children in Nigeria dies before age 5 due to poor access to basic and improved healthcare services, resulting in high rates of mortality and morbidity. In lieu of this, the Oyo State government, in collaboration with National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, the World Health Organization, and United Nations Children Fund, recently commenced measles vaccination exercise for children between 9 months and 5 years. I have here with me the Executive Secretary, Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Muideen Olatunji, who is here to shed light on the level of compliance and effectiveness of the measles vaccination in Oyo State. What can you say about the level of compliance of the vaccination?
Thank you. About 5 days ago, we commenced the measles campaign. As at yesterday, which was the day 4, we've been able to have at least about 65.8% coverage for our target population. And we have 7 days to conduct the exercise. So we have 3 more days to go, and we have additional 2 days to do a mop-up campaign. And so far so good. The compliance has been so impressive. We did a lot of mobilization, got in touch with the community leaders. We've been able to reach out to religious leaders, churches and mosques, and in special areas as well as schools. We are working very strongly along with the schools and school proprietors. And most of the kits that we talk about can be found within certain school in the kindergarten age group. And it gives us easy access to them. Some mothers have actually coming to the facilities that we designated to be able to conduct this vaccination exercise. So far so good. It's been so impressive, and we hope by the end of the day we're able to hit the target of 100% coverage.
Okay, so what is next after this vaccination? Do Nigerians hope for, do Oyo State people hope for another one in the nearest future?
No, sure. We do it from time to time because of people that will have missed the normal routine schedule from birth, and from age of 9 when they're supposed to come for vaccination. And some parents, either by migration or by traveling or by any form of hindrances, may not be able to vaccinate their children. So this campaign is meant to cover those gaps and cover up where we have inadequacies. And as we are campaigning for measles campaign, we're actually leveraging on this to even be able to vaccinate children with other antigen as well. And in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we are like to start another round of campaign for vaccination, the outbreak response for polio. That one is going to commence from the first week of next month as well. So from time to time, when there's a need for it, especially in this kind of a season, whereby we are approaching each period, we want to ensure that all our children are well covered, and those that have already received vaccination before, they get additional dose, which is like a booster dose for them, so that the children will be well protected.
Thank you. It's over to you in the studios.
Very well, Rafia. Thank you so much for your contribution on health matters from Ibadan. In other news, a bill for an act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act 2011 has scaled second reading at the House of Representatives. The amendment of the TET Fund Act seeks the provision of additional conditions for accessing funds for capital projects by beneficiary institutions.
They're just saying that the universities who have shown capacity, who have shown resilience, who have shown steadfastness, can use their track record to have a better chance than one university who has not done anything, who has just sat down and not expending the use of the resources they were afforded.
Let me pause a bit and ask you this question. What happens if the university have not shown capacity and it's a new university? As long as the fund will not discriminate against new upcoming universities, where the older universities that have shown capacity will drive larger percentage of the fund, and new universities like the one some of us are proposing will not benefit from it.
If for whatever reason we deny our universities the opportunity to increase and improve their capacities in the next 5-10 years down the line, what will be the standards that we will have?
All tertiary institutions need our support, but that has made they must be transparent and accountable. This is an intervention fund that must be monitored and managed well.
For them to access the TET fund, they must show how they utilized their internally generated revenue.
Asking universities to submit their financial records and jobs they have done to Accountant General of Nigeria with enormous responsibilities he cannot even meet. It's just a way of saying that it's impossible for universities to access this fund.
The problem has been that most institutions have not even met up with some of the stringent conditions, one of which is that until you exhaust the allocations for the current year, you are not entitled to take that of the previous year. So that has brought unassessed interventions.
Call on Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to place public tertiary institutions on the service-based tariffs of Band C, or if there is any band that is lower than Band C.
The bill has been referred to the House Committee on TET Fund for further legislative action. The Forum of Former Deputy Governors is proposing to establish a humanitarian center in order to assist in times of disasters. The Forum as well seeks more stringent legislation that provides for a stiffer penalty for abandonment of public-funded projects across the country. These were part of communique developed as its two-day conference ends in Abuja. Kenneth Nani reports.
In a two-day intensive evaluation process where issues of national interest are being considered and some of them have been put into perspective with their communique raised.
The forum agreed on a number of issues, including the need for a healthy working relationship between the outgoing political office holders and their successors to ensure that projects meant for the socio-economic development of the nation are not abandoned.
In every contract condition, you will find out that there are rules, there are penalties stipulated for non-completion of projects. The punishments are not severe enough.
There is the need to have a stakeholder engagement, a forum that can give government adequate information about the priority needs of the people.
The need to address issues such as insufficient food production, food importation, conflict and insecurity, climate change and natural disasters were also considered.
There should be agricultural hubs intentionally created, and in addition, those hubs, there must be security. Security must be provided.
Mechanization is very crucial because you cannot continue using the hoe and the cutlass again. Now, the second thing is input. The input the farmers need are good seeds, fertilizer.
This conference is really a chance for me to engage my colleagues and also to call on the federal government to put more effort on security of our people in Kwara State and other neighboring states.
Expectations of the forum include that the recommendations will be adopted and adequately implemented at both national and state levels. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Elsewhere, Nigeria's focus is shifting from oil to agriculture, with the products like Nigerian ginger gaining traction in global markets, especially China. At the 2024 Nigerian Exporters Hub Conference, industry leaders are strategizing on expanding Nigeria's global trade presence. Alika Okbanacharua reports.
Statistics highlight significant trade deficits of approximately $18 billion between Nigeria and China. The Nigerian Exporters Hub Conference aims to bridge the gap by creating viable channels for increasing Nigeria's agricultural exports, especially in ginger, sesame, cashew, soybeans, and hibiscus.
What do you have to export? We will teach you what to export, how to export it, where to export it, and we will give you off-takers.
Infrastructure is a challenge, energy is a challenge, a lot of a challenge, even the cost is a challenge. So, but then we are not looking at those challenges, we are looking at solutions. How do we move it forward?
We have aggregators in different local government, different areas. I have 72 locations in Nasima, all over the country. So there are people now who are not doing anything. The only job they also give information that these goods are very commercial quantities there, and we just buy off them.
The advocacy to promote non-oil exports and enhance Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings is gaining momentum across the country, with government charting a new course for non-oil exports. In Abuja, Alika Okbanacharua, NTA News.
And a little bit on education. A comprehensive framework designed to bridge the gap between university education and industry demands is coming on board, geared towards tackling pressing issues of graduate unemployment in Nigeria by equipping students with the skills and experiences needed to thrive in today's job market. The initiative is courtesy the National Universities Commission, NUC, and the Commonwealth of Learning. The key components include internships and industrial attachments, providing students with real-world experience through hands-on work placements, digital skills training, and at equipping students with essential tech skills to meet the demands of the modern economy. Industry partnerships, which will focus on strengthening collaboration between universities and industries to ensure curricula are aligned with current market needs.
Employability and support of the Nigerian graduate. Can you truly account for your certificate?
We also know that companies and institutions are constantly rethinking what they do and how they work. And that is why they need employees that can flex, they can stretch and also evolve to meet the challenges that we can't yet imagine.
Education experts and policymakers are urged to closely monitor the rollout of this initiative to ensure its successful implementation. The ultimate goal is to produce graduates who are not only academically qualified but also possess the practical skills required to succeed in the 21st century workforce. Let's pause here for our second commercials. The news continues shortly. Thank you for staying with us on Nationwide. And now we take you to Ogun State, where the release of water from the Oyan Dam by the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development Authority is impacting on the lifestyle of communities along the riverbank, with many opting to relocate than witness the harrowing experience. Michael Olale in this report visited one of the communities and brings back this report.
The worst nightmare dreaded by this community known as Maidorile Patili in my 12th area of Lagos is here, with water level rising every second. Some weeks ago, the riverbank was a makeshift jetty offering shelter for those waiting for the next boat, but that space has been taken over by water as residents now depend on an elevation to board.
Even with the canoe, we can't face the water.
We have 12 CDAs in this community, so that tells you that everybody living in this community comes through this way out to the community. So we have just 2 canoes moving people. It becomes a rush hour.
We experience most of the animal that comes with the water, and sometimes it enters various homes.
Stakeholders say finding lasting solutions to the plight of communities along the riverbank could be the needed antidote in place of relocating. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
A reflection roundtable on local government elections in Nigeria, designed to review recent local government elections and highlight key lessons for local governance, citizen participation and local government electoral reforms, has ended in Abuja, with appreciation to the present administration for making elections at the 3rd tier of government possible. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Recent Supreme Court decision granting financial autonomy to local governments, there has been an exponential growth in the number of local government elections conducted by states.
State independent electoral commissions require a lot of capacity development, and that's part of the reforms that have been undertaken for INEC, because INEC, in terms of its technical competencies, has greatly improved.
Apparent wake up by most states is born out of the trepidation of the consequences of the recent Supreme Court decision on autonomy of local governments.
What it means now is at least you must have an election. We start from somewhere.
You can never be perfect. So at least something is agreed now. You cannot just say, I pick on my own, you do something. They see there must be movement. So the movement is going on now. Very soon, we now perfect the movement.
This assessment stakeholders gathered here say will be instrumental in guiding reforms to strengthen local government elections. The roundtable will also explore the implications of these elections for local governance and accountability. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The desire to enhance transparency, accountability and effective implementation of the Freedom of Information Act across public institutions in Nigeria propelled the Bureau of Public Service Reforms to organize a workshop for civil servants of Nigeria. Hamman Jabani reports that the theme is Strengthening Freedom of Information Act Compliance in Nigeria, Capacity Building, Partnership and Innovative Solutions.
Freedom of Information Act serves as a vital tool to promote openness, empower citizens and ensure government accountability. However, achieving full compliance requires strengthening the capacities of key actors, fostering collaborative partnership and embracing innovative approaches to tackle emerging challenges. It is in the light of this that this gathering equip participants with necessary skills and knowledge to navigate the complexity of FOI compliance, promote transparency in governance, and enhance public trust.
Better informed how to source for information encourages all of us.
So it's very important that the citizens know that they have a right to know what the government is doing. Information is free. You can seek information.
The forum worries that the level of proactive release of information by public institutions remain low. 13 years since signing into law. Hamid Jabani, NTA News.
Now, in shaping Nigeria's renewed frontier narrative, members of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations met in Abuja, focusing on strategic communication, transparency and national development. Correspondent Ibrahim Dan Hamidu reports.
Nigerian Institute of Public Relations (NIPR) recently held its general meeting in Abuja, focusing on proactive public relations communication and strategies. The institute emphasized the critical role of public relations in promoting transparency and accountability.
The time is very near when the federal government will call on NIPR to produce members of the institute.
Stakeholders and industry practitioners shared valuable insights on effective communication, crisis management and reputation building. During the question and answer session, some members and practitioners challenged the status quo, asking what news should really be in Nigeria.
If you want to succeed, core content, but about being proactive and then how you manage the crisis at hand.
The NIPR's efforts to promote excellence in public relations are more crucial than ever. By fostering a culture of transparency, accountability, and effective communication, Nigerians can build a stronger, more resilient nation. In Abuja, I am Ibrahim Hamidu, NTA News.
Over 2,000 youth and women have been empowered with working capital to start up their agro-enterprise in Bayelsa State. Commissioner for Agriculture, Professor B.K. Sese, urged beneficiaries of the Life ND program to imbibe the culture of discipline while going about their new businesses.
Furtherance of enhancing food sufficiency and improving the livelihood of rural youths and women through key agricultural value chain. Over 2,000 incubatees have been empowered with a working capital to grow their agro-enterprise in Bayelsa State.
I want to say a big thank you to the coordinator of the state and the state working committee.
I'm so happy, I don't even know what to say.
The Bayelsa State government has taken a significant step in meeting its counterpart funding and by supporting the incubatees through the Life ND project with working capital ranging from 150,000 naira, 250,000, 300 and 500,000 naira depending on their agric enterprise.
The youths, as you can see, they've all been mobilized. We asked them, encourage them to ensure that they deploy their starter pack judiciously.
Do well with the money. You can start with something.
By empowering entrepreneurs and farmers, the initiative contributes to Bayelsa State's economic development and food security. In Yunagwa, Voke Barry, NTA News.
Sports update is next. Bright Sports Update there concludes nationwide this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolene Ebel Ame. Do have a lovely evening.